Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this tulip skirt. We're going to jump right in and get started here in just a second. This is a very simple skirt to make, so I think anybody can make it, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did in all of the steps. And I've got a couple pictures of my daughter Bonnie wearing it just so you can see what it ended up looking like. And I also made the top, but we will be doing that in another video. So we're going to start off by making those triangles. First, let's talk about what you need. I used a 6mm crochet hook, and I used some colorful yarn, and I used some stretchy black yarn. So I just used the Mandala Lion brand yarn and just a multicolored yarn there. And then the key to this skirt, though, I think, is the Comfy Classic Black Yarn Bee, because it is very stretchy and it works great for the waistband. Obviously, you could make the waistband with whatever yarn you have, so you do not have to use that. But if you want a stretchy waistband, then this is the way to go. It's the best one that I have found. And it works great. So we are going to get started. Like I said, you also need some scissors, a yarn needle, and a measuring tape. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by making the triangles, and I'm using the colorful yarn for that. And it just took me one cake of this yarn to make this skirt for Bonnie. So if you're going to make a larger size, you may want to get a few of these. 2 or more, but yeah, I just used one and it was plenty to make for her size. So let's get started. What we're going to need first is your 6mm crochet hook, and whatever yarn you're using. I'm going to be using the colorful yarn, and just kind of go with the color changes. I'm not going to try to make it go any certain way. So we're going to make a triangle that looks like this, and so you're going to need to make a slip knot to start out with. So go ahead and get your yarn, and let's make a slip knot. I made it super big there. All right, go ahead and slide your hook in, tighten it up, and what we're going to do is we are going to chain 2. So you don't want to be super tight, but go ahead and chain up 2. There's 1 and 2. We're going to single crochet back into the first chain. So that first chain you just made, you're going to go into it, and we're going to single crochet. Then we are going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet again into that same space. That is your first row. Okay, so it should look something like this after the first row, just very little. But it'll look like that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we are going to turn our work. We're going to put 2 single crochets into that very first single crochet. So there's 1 and 1 more in that same space. In the chain 1 space, which is kind of hard to see, but it is right in there. So that's going to be your chain 1 space. We're going to go into that space, and we're going to single crochet, chain 1, and do another single crochet into that chain space. In our last single crochet that we have there, we're going to put 2 single crochets into that stitch. It's a little bit hard to get into. There we go. So we're going to put 2 single crochets into that last stitch. So for that one, we did 2 single crochets, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the middle, and then 2 single crochets on the end again, okay? So now it should look like this. You can tighten up that bottom string if you need to. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. All right, so in the first single crochet again, we're going to put 2 single crochets. So right here, you're going to go in and do a single crochet. Go right back into that same stitch and do a single crochet. And now we're going to have single crochet into the top of every single crochet till we get to the chain space. So we're going to have 2 single crochets there, and then we're going to get to the chain space. And in that chain space, we're going to do the same thing we did with the other one. We're going to go in, we're going to single crochet. Right there in the middle of that chain space is right there. It's not a huge space, but it's there. There's single crochet, chain 1, single crochet right back into that same chain space. Okay, then we've got a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. There's 3 stitches left. We're going to go single crochet, and then in that last single crochet there, we are going to put 2 single crochets. There's, whoop, didn't get it. There's 1 and 2. So now it should look something like this, and it's starting to look kind of like a little triangle now. So we chain 1, we turn our work, and our pattern does not ever change the whole time we are making this triangle. Okay, guys, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the end, 2 single crochets right here, and then we are going to single crochet 1 in each stitch until we get to the chain space. One more here, and then we're at the chain space now. So we're going to go into that chain space, single crochet, chain 1, another single crochet into that chain space. All right, and then we're going to single crochet down into each, one into each until we get to the last one. Once we make it down to the last single crochet, we're going to put 2 single crochets into that one. And this is what we're going to do until our triangle is the size that we want it to be, which we're going to do 16 rows for this skirt. So you can kind of count. They're in the middle. You can see the chain spaces. I like to count the rows that way. So you can see right there in the middle of my fingers, we're going to just count up the middle and see till we have 16 rows. And I'm going to do another row with you. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and then I'll meet you back after we've done a few more rows. There's 2 single crochets into that first stitch. Then we're 1 single crochet into each stitch until we get to the top chain space. This actually goes pretty quickly. This is not a super long time to make these triangles. And we are going to be making 9 triangles total, but let's get this first one started here, finished up here first. So there's our chain space. That is where we're going to go in, and we are going to single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all in that same space. So that's what we're doing right there. And then we're just going to put 1 single crochet into the top of each single crochet until we get to the end. And then we're going to put 2 there. We are almost there. And once you get going on these, you just remember the pattern, and it's super quick to go through them. So here we are at the last single crochet, which mine is a little tight there, but that's okay. We'll get in it and do 2 single crochets into that last one. So now it's definitely looking like a triangle. Okay, so it should be just like this. And you guys do a few more rows of exactly the same thing we've been doing. And once you have 16 rows total, I'm going to meet you back here and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, so here I have a few more rows done. I'm going to show you how I count it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can kind of see up the middle. It's easy to count your rows that way. So we're halfway done. So I just kind of wanted to show you what it's going to look like when you have a few more rows done, and how the easiest way, I think, to count the stitches. We're going to continue on with 2 single crochets in that first stitch, 1 single crochet all the way up to the chain space. And then in the chain space, we are going to do a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all in the chain space. single crochet back down the other side, and 2 single crochets in that last one. We're going to continue on until we have 16 rows. I'm at 8 right now, so I'm going to meet you guys back here in just a minute. Go ahead and finish that up. And we are going to be making 9 of these triangles total to make the skirt. So, but this is just get through this first one first, I guess. So I will meet you guys back here in just a second. Okay, here we are. We have got finished with all of these rows, and you can see the chain spaces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we've completed this triangle. And so you can go ahead and cut your yarn and pull it through one more time and pull that tight to hold that in place there. And we'll sew in all of our ends later. For now, you can leave it, or you can go ahead and sew it in if you would rather. And so your triangle should look something like this. We are going to be making 9 of these total. So you need to make 9 total in order to make your skirt. Here are a few of the other triangles that I've already made. They kind of just went along with the color scheme there of the yarn. I didn't try to, so some of them are solid and some of them are mixed colors, and I think it turned out really pretty with the way that it all goes and flows around in the skirt. So your alls will look something like this as you continue on. We are going to do a border around the triangles. So if you need to make like a small / medium size, we're about 6 inches tall for this triangle. And let's see here, get it where you guys can see, and maybe make the numbers not upside down, sorry. Lengthwise on these triangles, and they're going to be a little bit longer than this because we are going to put a border around them, but it's right about 13 inches or so right now. So this is the size that I'm making. If you need to make your triangles bigger, you can. If you're making a bigger size, you can do that, and that's no problem at all. I'm just going to show you, like, we're going to be connecting them kind of top of the triangle to the bottom of the triangle, and we're going to be doing that here in just a minute. But first, I do want to show you how to put a border on them before we connect them together. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach our yarn so we can make a border. Kind of makes it look more finished around these triangles. And I'm just going to attach it at the bottom corner and crochet across the bottom part of the triangle first. So I like to tie my yarn to attach it here. And we are going to be doing a half double crochet across the whole way around the triangle. So we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over, go into that very same hole. And we're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet. We're going to do that all the way in every single hole across the bottom. These are not your these are not the stitches that you have made. These are the bottom, so it would be like the chain spaces where we are turning chain spaces when we were going back and forth. But we're just going to do half double crochets into every hole across this whole bottom of the triangle. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and click over, or you can pause the video here. Keep doing your half double crochets, and I will meet you back at the corner where we're going to turn and go up the side of the triangle. Okay, here we are at the other side of the bottom, so our other corner here. And what we're going to do is in that corner, we're going to do 3 half double crochets so that it kind of turns the corner and gets us going up the side. So right there in that last space, we're going to do 1. I did a single crochet in there. That is not what I meant to do. It should be 3 half double crochets to go around the corner. And so 3 half double crochets in that same stitch, and that's going to get you going up until you get to the top point of the triangle. And we're going to put 3 half double crochets up there as well. So just the same as you did across the bottom, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, we're going to do half double crochets up the whole side until we get to the top point. And once we get to the top point, I'm going to remind you guys again that we're going to put in 3. Okay, here we are at the top. You can see the middle seam coming up that triangle where we had the chain 1 space, and we're going to go into that chain 1 space, and that is where we are going to do 3 half double crochets. Not sure why in here I'm doing a single crochet in there, but you definitely want to do 3 half double crochets, and then we're going to half double crochet down the other side until we get back to where we started. So again, this is just 1 half double crochet into the top of every single crochet all the way around this. Very simple. So just go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back when we have finished this side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 half double crochets here because we've already done 1 half double crochet to start. So and in this stitch, so we're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we did. And then you can cut your yarn and pull it through, and we have finished the border around our triangle. And you can go ahead and sew in your ends if you'd like, or you can do it all at the end. Whichever way you prefer to do that is absolutely fine. And so now we're going to get started on how we're going to put these together. Okay, so if you want to lay out your triangles, this is what the way we're going to attach them together is going to be like this. You're going to be like the bottom of a triangle, then the top, then the bottom, then the top, then the bottom, then the top, okay? And then all the ones that have the bottom facing down get another row around. So the first thing we're going to do together is the top waistband is what we're going to be doing. So you can see here with the direction of the arrows, that's what we're going to be crocheting across the bottom of the triangle, that top point, the bottom of the next triangle, top point, bottom of the next triangle, and then the top point. And then we are going to close it off together to make that be our waistband. So let's go ahead, this is just to give you a visual of what we're going to be working on next. So let's go ahead and get started on our next step. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change over to my black yarn. That is the stretchy yarn, the Yarn Bee stretchy yarn that I have. I think it's called Comfy Classics, if I remember correctly. So I've got all of my triangles here, and I'm going to just kind of go in the order of the color that they came out to attach them. So I'm going to, like I said, switch to this Yarn Bee. It is stretchy, and I really, really like this yarn for waistbands or any kind of cuff or anything that you want to be stretchy. It has really good stretch to it, and it goes back. It doesn't just stretch out and stay stretched out. It goes back. So let's go ahead and attach our yarn at the corner of the first triangle that we're going to go across the whole bottom of this triangle. Okay, so let's go right in here, and you can see those are where we did the 3 in 1. We're going to go to that middle stitch, and that's where we're going to attach the yarn. Is right there on that middle stitch, and I do like to tie it, so you can tie it or attach yarn however you like to attach it is totally fine as well. Okay, you're going to go in there and you're going to pull up a loop, chain 1, going to go right back into that same stitch, and we're going to single crochet, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch across this whole bottom row of this triangle. And we're just going to continue to do this. I am sewing it, or go ahead and crocheting over those ends there, just so I have a few less to sew in at the end of this project. But if you would rather just sew them in, that's totally fine. You don't have to do that. So I'm just going to keep going across here. We're just single crocheting, which is just going in, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We should know how to do that. That's how we made our whole triangle. So go ahead and finish across this whole bottom, and I will meet you back when we are ready to join with the second triangle. Okay, here we are. I am finishing up these last few stitches here before I made it to the next point of the triangle. And you can see those are those 3 stitches that we did, 1, 2, and 3 in that same stitch. We're going to go to the middle stitch, and that's where we're going to be finished with this triangle for this round. So we're going to do that, and yours should look something like this. And it's stretchy, and we've got across that whole flat bottom there. And so now you're going to get the point of the next triangle. There's going to go together with just the point. You're going to find those middle stitches, those 3 that are in the middle, and those are going to be the stitches. We're just going to go straight into it, and just like it was in the same row, straight right there and do a single crochet. So nothing different. We're just going to pretend like it's all already attached. Just go in and do 3 single crochets into the 3 top points of that triangle, and we're going to connect those sides later. We're going to work on the waistband first, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to connect the sides as we continue along. So now we need our next triangle that with the flat bottom. That's going to be the next part of our skirt that we're going to go, and we're just going to find that middle stitch again, and we're going to go right into it and make a single crochet. So you find the stitch that has 3 in 1, 1, 2, 3, go into that middle stitch and make a single crochet, and then just continue single crocheting all along the bottom there. And this is what you're going to do until you get all the way around there. And then after you get to the middle of that one, we're going to attach again the top point of the next triangle. And we're going to do that until we have the whole waistband around the whole skirt. And go ahead and do that. And I will meet you guys back here when we have all of our single crochets done around the first row of the waistband. Okay, here we are. I am attaching my last, the last point of this crochet triangle here. And yours should be looking something like this with this single row of single crochets. And as you can see, that has attached all of these in order of how they're going to go around on the waistband. And so what you're going to want to do is go ahead and make it circle up. Make sure you're not twisted, or make sure you get it in the right circle. And we're going to go to the end because we're going to make a loop like this, because this is the waistband. So we want it to be a complete circle. And we're just going to single crochet this together. Just like that. So go ahead and just go right into that very first stitch. I know black is a little bit hard to see. Sorry. But you're going to go right into that very first stitch you did, making sure that the skirt's not twisted. And I'm just going to single crochet that together and do the rest of the skirt in a round. So we're just going to do single crochets again for another row all the way around. And it should look something like this. And like I said, we're going to attach the sides of the triangles here in a minute. So go ahead and single crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you back for the next round. Okay, so I had 116 single crochets around. For round 3, we are going to decrease at the top of every triangle plus one more time anywhere. So we're going to have a total of 10 decreases this round. I'm going to also start out with a decrease. I'm going to show you guys real quick how to do that, and then it's just remembering to do those decreases and single crocheting all the way around. So let's go ahead and get started here on round 3. And that's right there, that tip, that's what I mean when I say the top, when we get to the top of a triangle. That's where we're going to decrease. And I'm going to decrease right here. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, go into the next, and don't finish it. Go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all of them. And that just decreased those 2 stitches. We're going to do that at the top of every triangle. And plus one more time, and that's going to give us 10 decreases this round. So making it larger than your waist and then decreasing it down is what's going to give it that kind of a ruched look. It's not going to be like a super tight skirt. It's kind of flowing. So go ahead and now finish up your single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to meet you guys when we're back. Remember to do those decreases just the way I just showed you, and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Okay, I just finished that round, and now for our next round, round 4, we are going to decrease 20 times. It doesn't really matter where these decreases are, as long as you are trying to space them out, evenly around the skirt. But just as long as you decrease 20 times around, then that is going to get you where you want to be. Now, if for whatever reason this waistband fits like this, then don't decrease, just single crochet around. But if you're still needing it to be quite a bit smaller, like if Bonnie's small, medium size, then you're going to want to go ahead and decrease. We're going to decrease 20 times around. Round 5, we're going to decrease 16 times around. Okay, so we're going to end up with a total of 70 stitches. And again, if you need to be done decreasing, then don't decrease anymore. So I did make this ended up being a little bit smaller than Bonnie's waist so that it can stretch and stay up and it's not falling off. And it worked out really well. So if you're using a stretchy yarn, then that is perfect. If you're not using the super stretchy yarn, then don't make it too small. So if just depending on who you're making it for, you want to just continue decreasing. Unless, like I said, it already fits you, then just go around a single crochet into every stitch around. And then also for round 6, we are also going to do a decreasing row. We're going to decrease 10 times around for a total of 60 single crochet stitches around the waistband. So it should be kind of ruching it up, pulling it together, and so we're going to have 10 decreases for that round 6. Okay, once you're done with your decreasing rows, it should look something like this. It's gotten smaller, but we want it to be a wider, thicker waistband. So we're going to do 10 more rows of single crochets before we do those sides together. So go ahead and do 10 more rounds of single crochets so we can get that nice wide waistband, and we want it to be up there. So when you're done, it'll look like this. Okay, and I love this waistband. It is perfect fit for what we're doing. So once you have all of your rows done, 10 more rows after your decreasing rows, it's going to look like this. And then we're going to now be working on attaching the sides of the triangles and then adding the bottom rows of triangles as well. So we are going to start by making that will get one added on the bottom. The ones that have the bottom edge of the triangle, it'll go together right like that. We should have 3 triangles left to still attach to this skirt. Okay, so to get started there, make sure nothing is twisted up. Make sure it's all laying correctly because we don't want to get it twisted up. So we're just going to find where the top of next to the waistband is where we're going to attach our yarn, and we're just going to go right in where that top stitch is meeting the waistband, and we're going to attach the yarn there. And again, I like to tie it. So you're going to go ahead and tie that real tight. Get your crochet hook. You're going to pull up a loop, chain 1, and then you're going to go into the opposite side where you're attaching it to, and you're going to slip stitch and chain 1. You're going to come back to the next stitch on the first triangle. You're going to go into that stitch right there. You're going to slip stitch and you're going to chain 1. Go to the second triangle to the very next stitch, and you're going to slip stitch and you're going to chain 1. Come back to the first triangle, slip stitch and chain 1, second triangle, next stitch, slip stitch and chain 1. And this is what we're going to be doing all the way down, just back and forth on the triangles. We're going to slip stitch to one triangle, chain 1, slip stitch to the other triangle on the coinciding stitches, and we're just going to chain 1 in between the slip stitches, and that is how we are going to connect this triangle all the way down that side. And as you can see, it's going to look something like this, and that's what we're going to do all the way down to the corner, and then I'll show you what to do there. So go ahead and do that, and I will show you what to do once we get to the bottom. Okay, here we are at the bottom. As you can see, this is what yours should look like after you have slip stitched and then chained 1 in each of them. I've got one more slip stitch to do into this green triangle, and we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And then I'm going to turn the bottom of the triangle towards me, because this is where we're going to need to add one of the other triangles that is not attached to the skirt at all right now. So we're going to be adding it to that bottom there. And we're going to be in that middle of the corner, and we're going to go across right there. So you're going to get your other triangle, and you're going to line it up. You're going to find the middle stitch of the corner, and that is where we're going to be going into that yellow square first. Well, yours might not be yellow, but that's okay. So we're going to go right into that middle stitch of the corner, and we're going to slip stitch and chain 1. We're going to go back to the green square, or I'm sorry, not a square, triangle, and we're going to go into that next stitch. I'm going to slip stitch, chain 1, yellow triangle, slip stitch, chain 1, and we're going to do that exact same thing that we did there before, all the way down until we have the bottoms of both of these triangles stitched together. So you guys go ahead and do that all the way down this this row, and I'm going to meet you at the other corner and show you. We'll go back up the other side of the green triangle and attach it to the triangle on the other side. So it's going to look something like that as you continue along, and I'll meet you back here in just a second. And here we are at the end of connecting that bottom row. So now we're done with that bottom triangle. For now, we're going to go up the other side of the green triangle here. So we're not going to go back into the yellow one. We're just going to slip stitch up the side of this green one, slip stitch and chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to grab the next triangle that is beside it, that's attached to the skirt. Make sure it's not twisted or anything at the top. We're going to line it up. You're going to find that bottom corner, and you're going to find the middle stitch from that bottom corner. And we're just going to go ahead and slip stitch into there. The middle stitch there, slip stitch and chain 1. Slip stitch and chain 1 all the way up until we get back up to the black waistband of the skirt. Slip stitch and chain 1, just alternating sides until we get all the way up there to that black part of where the skirt is. And we're going to actually tie off right there. So I'll meet you back at the end of that. And here we are. So I've just got a couple more left. Chain 1, slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch, and chain 1. I do like the way this turns out looking. It creates a nice little area in between the triangles. And as we continue along here, just make sure you get in every stitch, because it is a little bit easy to miss one here. So we're going to go into the last stitches, and then we're also going to go into right all the way up where it's connected to the waistband. Okay, then we're going to cut our yarn. And we're going to pull it through and pull it tight. And you can go ahead and weave that in if you'd like, or you can wait and weave them all in at the end. I'm going to do mine at the end. So it should look something like this. Okay, so you have your first, there's down, across, and then back up. And then we've tied it off. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start at the next, on the other side of this, because it doesn't get anything attached to the bottom of this. So we're going to attach again up here at the top close to the waistband, and then we'll go down across the bottom and back up the other side. And we're going to do that 2 more times. And when you have that all done, then your skirt will be all together, and it will look like that. And you'll come up the sides like that, or come down the sides, because you want to attach at the top. Come down that side, and then across the bottom, and then back up. So down there, across the bottom, back up, and that will, and then tie off, and then move to the next section. Again, attach at the top, down, across, and back up, and when you are done, it will look like this. And then all you will have to do is weave in your ends. So you just need your yarn needle, and you need to find your ends. And this is all I do, is I just thread the needle and go back and forth a few times with the thread until I feel like it's, you know, go kind of in different directions and back and forth. And then you just cut it off, and it will stay. So that's all you got to do. Then you trim off that end, and do that to all of the ends that you have, that you see, so that you get them all done. You're going to have a few down at the bottom where it's done. And when you are done, you will have this awesome tulip skirt. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to see pictures. So if anybody wants to send pictures of a skirt that you've made that is like this, of different colors or whatever, that would be awesome. And if you have not yet, please do like this video and subscribe to our channel. Bonnie and I would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to get more subscribers, so please do hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time. Love everybody. Be safe. Bye. Oh, and sorry, one more thing. I'm also going to be putting up a video of the top. If anybody wants to make the top that goes with the skirt, I will be making a separate video for that. So this one was just for the skirt, and the top will be coming soon. See you guys.